Discovery, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Khadija.
I'm Hanan.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Miriam.
Okay, so I'll just break down what we're doing with you today. I'm going to give you an introduction of what guided discovery is. We're going to have lovely Nisa give you a demo lesson of a guided discovery lesson. We'll have Hanan. She'll break it down for you, look at the positives, the negatives, how it works in the classroom. And then a fun activity with Miriam doing a reinforcement. So, what is guided discovery? The basic idea of guided discovery is to teach students in a more student-centred way. Raymond Murphy mentions that students learn better when they're actively doing something and not being passively told what to do. So what are the principles behind guided discovery? There's a few on the board for you. Students need to be involved in working things out. Where they do this, it's more challenging for them. And while it's challenging, they feel more confident. They're working together, working things out themselves, and kind of teaching each other. The teacher's role here changes, and this is one of the main differences in guided discovery. They're not standing at the front of the class, they're monitoring and they're guiding the students through the grammar point. And what you're going to see today is Anissa doing one of the a grammar lesson, and you'll hopefully notice that later on. So, how does it work? How do we use it? It's important for we, the teachers, to know exactly what our students want to get from the lesson. So we therefore need to know what particular grammar point or vocabulary point it is they need to know. We need to think of a creative way to introduce that target language. We need to then think of how this could be done. It could be done through a text, a listening, examples, tests maybe, any way it could be done through. Then you need to use a worksheet to give them practice. And it's good here to fit in the meaning, the form, and if you can, pronunciation. You're going to see one of these demo lessons now. I'm going to hand you over to Anissa. So you need to now put your mind in as a beginner. And I'll hand you over to Anissa, but also a teacher, so you get something from.
Hi everyone, it's me again. Okay, I'm doing the demo lesson today. And if you look up on the screen, we're going to be having a slideshow of 14 different pictures, and I would like you all seated in groups of 8, to talk to your partners and decide what grammar point you're going to talk about today. You don't have to decide after the first picture. You have to look at all the pictures before you finally decide. Now remember, please be very attentive, because there's going to be a competition throughout our presentation, and we're going to be having prizes for the best group. Okay, so you've got to work hard, right? So I would like you guys to look up at the screen, and you have 3 minutes to talk to your partners to decide what you think the grammar point I'm going to teach you today. Okay, so 3 minutes begin now.
We'll sell this for a long time.
Descriptive adjective. Yeah.
Imperative adjectives. We're done? 3 minutes?
No, she said we have to look at all.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any ideas?
Imperative.
Any ideas? Are there cheaters in the room? I'm sorry. You think it's imperatives?
No!
No?
No.
Does anyone disagree with her?
It's just adjectives.
We
disagree.
What do you think?
Opposite.
Adjectives?
Descriptive adjectives.
Antonyms, it could be any of these. The pictures are so close. But unfortunately, yes, that team is thrown out. And comparative adjectives, and especially we're going to be talking about, yes, we're going to be doing comparisons. Okay, well done. Well done to that group at the edge. Okay, the first activity that you guys are going to have this competition for, this is the big one, Okay, my partners are going to hand you out handouts. As you can see, we have these handouts, and we have columns, and we have adjectives at the bottom of these columns. You will have to match the correct adjective to the correct rule. Okay, now this is a competition. So listen carefully, this is a competition. The group that is finished first with all the correct answers, you are the winner. You will have to please let my colleagues know if you finished. Okay, so you have 3 minutes. Begin. 3 minutes, begin.
Finished. We're done.
Could you check them?
I wrote the numbers next to them.
So
One star. It's to everyone.
Easy.
Yes.
We're done? Done?
we have another team done. We have a winner.
Okay. What? Okay, the rest of you. Okay, so we have a winner here. Give them the prizes. Okay, the rest of you. There were some mistakes. My colleagues saw that there were some mistakes. So could you please check your answers? Could you please check your answers?
Do we have
The answers are up on the board, so if you could please check your answers.
We're sorry here. Yeah, exactly. Huge. Did you say huger?
Okay, at this point when you're teaching this lesson, you've got to remember that the students are going to have some problems. You see my colleagues were walking around the room and checking and monitoring what you were doing. At this stage, if you see that there are some rules, that there are more mistakes than others, then you definitely have to do reinforcement, you have to talk about it more. Unfortunately, we don't have time right now. Okay, so we're going to go on, right? So the answers are on the board, you can check them, you can agree or disagree, of course, we have a professional team here. Okay, right, the next activity that, the next activity we're going to do is, my colleagues are going to be handing out an exercise. Okay, have you given them out? Okay, you're going to be working in groups of 2. So I'm going to give you the instructions as soon as you have the exercise.
Have any prize for this?
Okay, the people who have the exercises, can I please give you the instructions?
Yes.
Okay, firstly, you will see that we have adjectives in parentheses. Okay, and what you have to do is you have to fill in the comparative form of the adjective in the first exercise. On the second exercise, it's a little bit different. On the second page, if you look at the exercise on the second page, you have to choose the correct adjective and then use it as a comparative. So it's different, 2 different exercises. You have 5 minutes to complete this one.
Timer's on the board.
Okay, the timer's on the board, so you have 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, let's just swimmer. Box shorter. How much fatter?
Remember, there's 2 pages. 2 pages.
The exercises are different on yours. In the first one, you just choose one. The second one, you have to choose the correct one. Have you known how to take the exercises? They're very good materials. Okay, here's your book. Just want to say something. I know you guys are
Yes, we're finished.
Finished.
Finished
already.
Finish. Yeah.
Done here.
Not, will you finish it first?
As zeros.
Yes, come on.
Finish.
This was quite nice. Well done.
You don't worry, you all get prizes. Could you please check that your answers are correct? Okay, just check your answers to see if they're correct. I'm sure you all have them all correct.
Yeah.
Need more time for the first lot? Okay, was that okay? Did you get the first exercise?
Yeah.
Okay, the second one. Well done. Who had all correct? Who had all correct?
We have everything.
Well done. Good students. Okay. Okay, remember that after you've done with the grammar point, you've got to have some CCQs to check that they understand what they're doing. Okay, with the first one, do you guys remember the rules that you did? Okay, I would like to ask you some questions, everybody together, and could you tell me which rules are true for the comparative? And this is from the first set of rules that you've done. Okay, is it true or false? To compare one thing to another?
True.
Yes. Well done. To compare one thing to many things? No. Okay. You have to add than after the adjective? Of course. You don't have to add than after the adjective? Okay, this is checking for meaning and form. Okay, and we have another question. The comparative of good? Zero, yes. Interesting? Interesting, yeah? And cold? Colder. Okay, and this is what we're testing for here. What we're checking for? Form. Well done. Okay, so you have to have a few CCQs or concept checking questions just to make sure that students, are along the right track. They might get them incorrect, and so you know what to revise again and to reinforce. Yes. Okay, the last exercise that you're going to do is a mingle, so you're no more in your groups. Okay, and could my partners please come to demonstrate? Okay, everybody has to make sure they get a picture, and we're talking about food. Everybody loves food. Okay, we're going to have some pictures about food. And you're going to use the comparative form to talk about your picture. Okay, can we have an example?
What do you have there? Yeah, my chicken is good.
My pancakes are better than yours.
No, my chicken is more finger-licking than yours.
Okay, so make sure that everybody has a picture. Could you read past our pictures? Okay, remember when we're doing all activities, you need to have monitoring. So if there are mistakes, you can write them on the board. If there's something that you see that's wrong, like we had, like we said before, you can correct them. You can't do these activities, the free speaking activities or free choice activities, without some type of monitoring. Very, very important. Okay, for this one, you don't have to stay in your groups. You can stand up, find any partner in any group if you have the energy. Everybody, you can stand up, you can talk to someone else, and you can change pictures. Yeah, you can stand up, you can go to the other groups, it's a mingle, you don't have to be in your group. There's enough space.
My banana split is delicious.
I don't need to give adjectives. It's just good. It's the best thing in the world.
Mine is yummy and colorful.
Yeah.
Cheaper and crispy.
Sorry, I have to go to my group.
This is ours. No exchange.
Yeah, we can exchange. Very good. Hello, partner. Thank
My pancakes are better than your chicken. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they are.
All right, after that.
Great. Thank you. You all did really good. Well done. Really well. You can do writing. You can do something oral. You can do whatever you feel. You can be as creative as you want, and students normally love it. As long as they're using, like, in terms of this, you have to make sure that they're using accuracy. You give them the target that you say to them, use the comparative form. So you're going to be checking for accuracy when you are monitoring. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Now I'd like to hand you over to my partner, Hanan, who's going to tell you exactly why we did this lesson the way we did it. Okay, thank you.
Do I need a microphone?
No.
Right? Hear me? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, just to keep in mind, when doing guided discovery lesson, our students aren't adapted to it. They're always used to teachers just spoon-feeding them everything. Also, what Terry also mentioned to us earlier is there's no different way in teaching. There's only different ways adapting to it. As you see, I have 2 questions on the board. I'd just like you to take about 2 minutes, discuss with the partner next to you. What did you notice about this lesson that Anissa just done? And I thought the change was quite obvious. Did you think it was effective? Yeah? So just 2 minutes with your partners. The change from a regular lesson to a guided discovery lesson. Regular grammar lesson. Thank you. Thank you. Can I get some ideas? What did you think about the lesson, yes?
The teacher didn't do much talking at all.
Yeah, that's true. Do you guys agree? The teacher didn't do much talking. Yeah? Another point? What did you notice about it? Yeah?
It was more student-centered and there were more communicative activities.
Yeah, that's true. It was more student-centered, yeah?
Students are exposed to the task right from the beginning.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Also, it was fun.
The grammar point wasn't mentioned, they just got on with the task.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of instructions to confuse them. It was just, okay, here, do this, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Students are extremely motivated to do the task and
Yeah, that's true.
Also the idea of competition.
Yeah.
If you put students directly into that, so be sure that the task is going to be done.
yeah, sure.
Just, yeah. That's true, yes.
Yeah, and I like how you used the charts that guided the student to figure out the rules. Instead of,
Yeah,
teachers.
that is true. So did you think it was effective?
Yes, it was.
Yes?
It was.
Just because you mentioned it in the discovery, grammar discovery, but if you give this to students, they won't know, how to put there's no context and there are no sentences, so they can,
Yeah.
like put this ER. So somehow there's a missing step before that. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
But I think
This is a
all of
follow-up
you,
or this is?
of course, this is a follow-up.
This is a follow-up from the
Because-
slideshow.
So it's not a
Already
grammar
knows
discovery.
comparison.
So it's not a grammar discovery.
Yeah, because technically we assume that we have done the grammatical lesson,
Yes.
the pure grammatical lesson. Then this is a follow-up exercise.
So this
Just-
is a follow-up. It's not
Yeah.
a grammar discovery because the grammar discovery will be like sentences, and from the sentences or from the context, you're gonna see. Okay, you have ER when we have a short adjective. When we have Y, that
Yeah.
changes. So there is a missing part before that.
Well, I don't think you would
so.
give this right away.
That's
I don't think you would just tell them, here, do it. I think they're,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a follow-up.
there has to be some kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, in the beginning there was.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Anissa.
Anissa. So said previously that at the beginning of the lesson of this presentation.
Yes.
So we assume that we gave our students the pure grammatical lesson. Then this is a purely.
That's what I said. I
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
Also, it's a
I remember that.
Yeah, it's a follow-up. Yeah.
Simplifying all this.
Maybe not, maybe we don't need, a pure grammar lesson here. Maybe just a text, right? And then this comes after, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I did mention at the beginning, to create interest in the target language at first, you do, like a text is beneficial because obviously they can refer to context and they have it to refer back to. Or if you have a listening, you can maybe have the listening written down on paper so they can refer back to that as well. So you do have to have something beforehand.
Yeah, this is what I said.
Yeah.
This is kind of follow-up.
Yeah.
Because the grammar discovery, you give the context to give them things, and then the rules come from the student.
Yeah, it's like the concept of test, each
You
test.
assume that they know the rules already.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a, it's a, I think it's a kind of checking their understanding
Yeah.
of what they have seen before. This is why it's,
Now, if in a class of 20, for example, you split the class into 4 or 5 teams, and they work closely together, how do you ensure that they don't use Arabic, for example, instead of English?
When it comes to guided discovery, which she's going to later explain to you, so I'm going to stop and not answer.
Exactly.
She'll
Yeah,
carry
I
on.
told
Is
you
that all
what
right?
we did. We've done, yeah.
So we'll move on. Thank you.
So there were some great points, and as you said, you can find some problems when doing this lesson. Again, I'd like you just to think about a few problems. What did you get out of Anissa's lesson? Did you find any problems? What to expect in class? What kind of problems do you think?
I mean,
so just another few minutes to discuss among yourselves, and then. Well, maybe there are more. Just to leave some time for activities later on. So, what kind of problems? What other problems did you think of?
the expense of the color photocopies.
They
really enhance the entire thing, you know, and the expense of the color photocopies as well.
Yeah.
But you could always do it once and laminate them and then put them away.
Yeah.
And share with other teachers.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's,
Yeah, or on the board. We had a few, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, well, I think it's difficult to teach this in Ramadan.
What we do find, definitely what we do find is if you laminate and you keep them and you can use them, like, you know, we have flashcards as well. We can laminate and keep them, but it definitely does enhance, it somehow enhances the entire activity.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Well, here are some problems that we found when we did the guided discovery lessons. So students may not understand the context given, like you said. Maybe how Anissa showed the rules, maybe students might get confused and not understand it. The teacher needs to be flexible and resourceful. She always has to be there for the students. And the instructions have to be clear. They have to be said clearly. It might take more time than a regular grammar lesson, maybe, but just at the beginning because you're constantly giving them instructions. And some situations can seem artificial and childish. For example, the pictures of Homer and Garfield, they might think, oh, it's a child, or some adults that we teach, you know, they might think it's too childish. Sorry. So, on the other hand, of course, there's always pros and cons to everything. So, can you think of benefits? What did you take out of doing this guided discovery lesson? Just talk again amongst your group. What did you take out of Anissa's lesson? Again, 2 minutes. Okay, thank you. Can I get some ideas? I heard this group talking. Can I get some ideas? I'm sorry.
Well, we were just saying that it was really fun. First of all, it's just really fun. And we were talking about how the competitive aspect of it kind of maybe brings out more creativity in the students. You're always trying to outbeat your partners. You're trying to think of the adjectives you can use your partner, like we were doing earlier. Yeah, more motivating.
Yeah?
For us, I think it's less time-consuming, first, and secondly, it gives the students the opportunity to deduce by themselves the rules. They have to be faced with the problem and then come up with the rule by themselves.
Yeah.
I think using grammar discovery, the main point is to get students involved in the learning process and measure at the
Yeah.
We were thinking of having them bring their own pictures from home or actual food.
Actual food.
Of course, I agree with all your points. These are some points that I thought of as well. Students use a variety of skills. For example, they use comprehension skills, they use competitive skills, they use all types of skills. It can be encouraged to work out rules from the language in the context, so they're working out their rules themselves. And of course, when they're doing that, they memorize it easily. So everything's very easily remembered. And it's more student-centered, of course, we said that. Students are just working and teachers just there to help. It's also useful for revising recent new language. For example, there's some adjectives that they didn't know and they just saw them and then they get to know them during the lesson. Also, when we teach, there's a guided discovery in our books and we don't even realize it. For example, the grammar spots in American Headway. There's also small grammar vocabulary builders on WorldPass, and I also found an American English file, just a sort of small activity. And these are some links that I found online, which are really helpful. It's a website that gives you a detailed guided discovery lesson, and it's also there's a YouTube lesson, teacher teaching a guided discovery lesson. And that's about it. We have a handout for you. We'll give it to you later. It's a step-by-step guided discovery. Okay, now I will hand you to my amazing partner, Lydia. It's a nice activity. Okay, thank you.
So we're just going to go through a game, and we can use this game just to check students' understanding of the grammar. It's fun, it's light, and it's just a nice way to end the lesson. We call this game Shoot for Points. Any basketball fans?
Yeah.
Any Michael Jordan? Yeah. Yep. So the aim of the game. So we're going to have two teams. I think we're probably going to have 2 teams of 8. We're going to be competing against each other. We're going to have one person from each team go at a time. Okay? And I'm going to do a quick demo, so you can see. I'm not going to give it away. So I'll have the ball. So I am the referee. This is one team, this is the other team. So I'm going to call out an adjective. I'm going to call out an adjective, and the girls have to shout out the comparative. But not only do they have to shout out the comparative to score points, they have to get the ball into the basket. Okay? Ready? Yeah. Cold.
Colder.
Oh,
man. We have to try again.
Well, you're probably better than them, but yeah, so you need to get the ball into the basket to earn points. Okay? So, let's do this.
So who did
As you win. The person with the most points.
But sorry,
There will be
you
a
have
treat.
you have to say the comparative form.
Yeah, the comparative.
And shoot.
And
then
after you shoot. You don't shoot first and then you say.
No, say the comparative,
Okay.
then shoot.
That's important.
So whoever says it first.
Oh.
Yeah? And if it doesn't go in, can we keep trying? No, you can't. No, the next person from your team has to have a go. Okay? So yeah, you'll have loads of chances to win. Okay? So we're going to have, I think it's easier if we have these two competing.
All right.
You two? These two teams? And these 2 teams. Okay.
Another one.
I'm taking it from him for the do it next time.
I thought that you
Try the first. No, the first one.
Okay guys, just a real fun game, yeah? Yeah. Our students love it. They just sit right up, make them enjoy the lesson and enjoy So there's loads of other games you can play in your class, and you can also adapt this game to other grammar points in your lessons. We're going to hand you out a list of other games you can play before you leave. Okay?
Where's that prize?
Alright, you get a prize. I don't know how to do this. Shall I chuck them into the crowd?
No! You give them to us if you want.
You have to be fair.
So, just before we give out the candy, I know you can't wait, and you're probably not going to have any questions now.
No questions.
No questions?
Swear to God.
Okay, if you do, here is our email addresses. Take them down and please feel free to send us an email if you have questions later on, or even tell us about your experience of doing a guided discovery lesson. Yeah? Okay. Thank you very much.